Boy, what a week for Britney Spears. Her bizarre behavior landing her on the cover now of the New York Daily News. The photo, this one here, appears to show the newly bald pop star swinging an umbrella at a car on Wednesday night before she ultimately returned to Promises Malibu. That's a treatment center for drug and alcohol abuse. It's her third try at rehab in a little over a week, but could it stick this time? And just what will she be facing in that program? Dr. Lance Dotis is a psychiatrist from Harvard Medical School. He's also the author of The Heart of Addiction. Good to have you back with us tonight, Doctor.
Good to be with you.
So give us an idea. We do know that Promises Malibu is a treatment center for substance abuse, not necessarily for maybe some psychological issues. So what are the criteria then to begin a program like this?
Well, most programs, most inpatient programs for addiction start out with a detoxification if the addiction requires it. Not all drugs require withdrawal, and not all addictions are addictions to drugs. But usually the beginning of a treatment would be a detoxification followed by individual and group sessions over the rest of the time.
This is a pretty small, fairly elite facility, at least from what we've learned today, and we've heard it mentioned in connection with other celebrities in the past. It's pretty pricey, about $1,000 a day, and from what I understand, tends to offer its patients a little bit more freedom than perhaps some traditional programs. Is this good or bad when it comes to a person trying to kick a habit? Is it better to be a little bit more regimented?
No, not necessarily. After all, addiction isn't a crime and it shouldn't be punished. The treatment ideally is individualized to the needs of that person. So if by flexible or loose we mean that they're going to offer Ms. Spears or anyone else a program designed for her, that's all to the good.
And when people enter these programs, it's not just ultimately their addiction that they're treating, but really their life as a whole.
Yes, and the addictions really should be understood as arising out of the emotional troubles of a person's mind and life. The best of the inpatient treatment programs do that they offer a flexible program which has both the traditional AA component, which everybody offers, which is great for the people who can make use of it, but statistically we know the majority cannot, so a good program should offer an alternate or several alternate approaches for the rest of the folks.
And also bringing in the family, I'd read too that is very important. The family, both blood-related family and others who are within your family, close enough.
Yes, and commonly programs, if the family is not close, the family will be invited in for a day or even a week of sessions during the time the person is hospitalized. How
long does it typically take to beat an addiction? Are you ever fully recovered?
You know, the whole notion of recovery is it's an AA term, but really addictions are a kind of symptom which can be understood and mastered. When I was saying that the rest of the people in a program deserve something in addition to AA, there are other more modern approaches. And, for example, I've written about a different approach to understanding addiction, but it's hard to get newer ideas into these programs. In fact, the only of the major programs, the only one I know that's using my ideas, for example, now is Sierra Tucson. But most of the programs tend to be a little more behaviorally focused and narrow, and that, as you're suggesting, you really need to address more of the underlying issues in a person's life.
And the whole package here. Dr. Lance Dotis, always good to have you with us. Thanks for your time.
It's a pleasure.